Apex Legends Season 14 is almost here. I was fortunate enough to be invited to take a sneak peek at this new season a little bit early before everyone else. I have a lot of interesting information to share with you all. Be sure to drop a comment though if you do have any questions that I do not answer in this video. Plus, you can hop into my community Discord and chat with me directly if you have any questions that you want to get answered a little bit quicker than down there in the comments. It's back, baby. Skulltown is returning. You probably already know this, but you might not know Skulltown is now called Relic, and this is for a few reasons. I think the main reason is they want to give Skulltown a new identity because it's not a carbon copy clone. They want to have it be its own POI, and this is definitely the case. I'll get to this in a second. One thing that you should know is that Thunderdome is not returning. You may miss this POI. I personally loved Thunderdome, but they are not going all the way down into the corner. One big thing though that is changing with Skulltown is it's being a little bit more open between Skulltown and Gauntlet. Basically, they're making it so you can rotate in and out of Skulltown without getting just cramped in there, and if you're either dying, not getting enough loot, or you can't go into Skulltown if you're trying to go in there in third party, and people might be able to get away because it's not as cramped in actual Skulltown. This should just help a ton with the map's flow. You're gonna have a lot more rotations around down there, and before this was not really happening ever since they did get rid of it back during like season 5. It seems good from what Respawn has shown me, and I'm very excited to try it out. The second POI that is getting an adjustment on Kings Canyon is actually Broken Relay. They're renaming this POI to Basin, and basically Broken Relay is getting a little bit of what Relay was before it was broken. They are adding some buildings up there with zip lines, and basically they just wanted the POI to be more used because it was not really being used at all. And I think this was definitely the case. I don't think anyone really ever went to Broken Relay before. The third spot is the Hillside Bunker. This is probably my favorite change on the map, to be honest with you, not even Skulltown. The buildings at Hillside are being removed. The main reason for this was just they wanted people to be able to rotate through Hillside without really getting trapped in the buildings, or if people are going to the buildings, they don't want people ratting in there, and then fights are just taking way too long, and a lot of people are converging on Hillside. So by getting rid of this, there should be less fighting at Hillside, and the map should just feel a little bit more free-flowy, and it should not be as stalematey as it was. The fourth change is another one of my favorite changes for the map. It's going to be the cage, actually. The cage is being lowered into the ground. The big thing with this is that the cage will now no longer feel quite as campy. If you get up to the top, you're not really going to be able to camp anymore because actually the cage also had a lot of the walls removed. So them lowering the cage and opening it up, it should be a lot like Hillside now, where you can't just rotate through there and maybe get a couple quick fights and then move on, and you won't have a lot of people converging on the cage. Another change with Kings Canyon is the skybox. The skybox feels a little bit more brighter, a little bit more airy. It feels a little bit more like jungly or like foresty. I think this is to go with the season. I do really like what I have seen with the skybox. It seems like it's going to be a lot like what they did with Olympus and even World's Edge back during like season 11 or season 6. I can't remember what it was. And the final thing to know about Kings Canyon in general is that the overall loot, the landmass, the landing spots, drop spot, health, rotations, and the weapon holds and all of this stuff, it was all taken a look at, so the map should feel a little bit more like year 3 of Apex Legends and not quite year 0, and it should just feel like it's actually moving forward and not maybe backwards when you are playing on this map. Probably the biggest changes are not even the map of Kings Canyon, but it's the weapon changes this season, and we got some very interesting things to share with you. For starters, the Wingman is now a sniper ammo using gun. It's kind of crazy to say, but the Wingman is now going to take sniper ammo and a sniper magazine, which should help reduce the amount of overall Wingmans that were being abused as they were last season, at least the first split. And I think this is a good thing. The main reason they said is they want people to be a little bit more choosy with the weapons they pick. Not everyone will really be able to run a Wingman with sniper ammo now because you can't really get as much sniper as you could, say, heavy or other types of weapons. I think this is a good change. I will have to wait and see how it pans out. This does move us into the Spitfire. The Spitfire is now going to be a light ammo gun, if you can't believe it or not. Basically, by putting the Wingman as a sniper ammo weapon and now the Spitfire as a light ammo gun, they're kind of making the heavy ammo be a little bit less and light ammo be a little bit more. And I think this is a very healthy thing for them to do. Now, it's going to be a little bit weird at first, but it being light ammo, I think is a good thing. And it's just going to make finding light ammo a little bit easier as people are going to be running it now. The EVA 8 fell off tremendously over the last few seasons. You know, it has definitely been put to the sideline, but the EVA 8 is probably going to be back. They're giving the EVA 8 not only a base fire rate buff, but they're also buffing the bolts on the EVA 8. And on top of this, the EVA 8 for the first time ever is going to be getting stocks, which should again increase your overall movement speed when you are using this weapon. Double tap is also coming back to the EVA 8, which again should increase its overall firepower. I definitely did not expect this to happen, but the EVA 8 does kind of look like it might be a decent weapon. The damage is not getting buffed from what they told us, so it does seem like we will have to wait and see if the fire rate is really good or not. and I am excited to have another shotgun that is not just the Peacekeeper or the Mastiff. You might have guessed it, but the Volt and the G7 are both returning to the ground, and the Rampage and the Bocek are going into the care package. And I think this is also a very good thing to have. The Bocek going in is probably the most desired gun for me that I have wanted to see put in the care package. The Bocek just does not feel like a normal gun for ground loot. It's the only arrow weapon, and it's a little bit strange. The Rampage, I'm very excited to go in the care package as well. I think this Rampage, if it does get a little bit of a buff, which honestly, I don't know if it really needs it when it goes in, it's going to be pretty insane. There is a new hop-up. The laser sight is coming into the game. We saw this leaked back during like season 12 when it was in the trailer with Mad Maggie, but it's actually coming into the game now. The laser sight does go on pistols and SMGs. It might be replacing the barrel attachment for SMGs. I might have got my notes mixed up here, but either way, it should be affecting your hipfire spread, and you can have the option to turn the laser sight on and off, which is pretty cool. You can also change the laser sight color, much like you can with your reticles, which I think is pretty dope. Skull Piercer is back. It's going to be on the longbow and the wingman, but it's also now on the 30-30, which is going to be very interesting. The 30-30 might have got a huge power buff. That's it for the weapon changes. No other intel was given for the actual crafting guns or any other type of like nerfs or buffs, but this should more or less be pretty much everything that is changing with the weapons. We have some very exciting item changes, which you probably might not have guessed, but finally, the gold knockdown is losing the self-revive perk. If you can believe it or not, self-revive is now out of the game, which is pretty crazy. I know a lot of pros have been asking for this for a while. And overall, I think it's a good decision. I think I'm okay with it going away. You know, it will be a little bit of a shame to see like those clutch self-revive plays happen. But, you know, at the end of it, when you're getting like second place because you died, you know, 4 teams ago and a lot of people are dying at endgame, it is what it is. I'm okay with it. The gold knockdown is going to now have the perks from the gold backpack of the reviving. So if you have the gold knockdown, you're going to be able to revive your teammates with more shields and more health. However, the gold bag is actually getting some new perks since it is going to the knockdown. The gold bag is now going to allow you to hold 1 extra med kit and 1 extra battery per inventory slot, plus 1 extra Phoenix kit. Not quite sure how I feel about this. It does seem like it's going to be a pretty big deal. Holding 2 Phoenix kits and 1 inventory slot. I am very excited to see how this meta plays out with the gold backpack and the gold knockdown. Level cap actually being increased. How is it going to work? The rumor for a little bit there was actually just getting another 200 levels. I'm so happy this is not the case. We are getting a Call of Duty like prestiging system of 3 prestiges to go up to a 2,000 total level cap now, which is pretty crazy. You got the first 500 base levels, and then you'll be able to prestige like 3 times, all the way up to a 200 cumulative total. This means you can now get more than 500 Apex packs just from playing the game. I think they mentioned it's around 540 if you are going to 1 to 500 4 times. And this is going to mean that everyone will eventually be able to get an heirloom from opening 500 packs. I know for a little while now that people have been saying the 500 pack rule doesn't exist anymore, but the developers pretty much straight up told us that you can still get an heirloom in the 500 pack opening, so I'm gonna take their word for it. It's exciting for me to hear them be very transparent with the heirloom thing, them telling us how it actually works, and I'm pretty excited to see that people are gonna be able to get free heirlooms, even if it is 2,000 levels. It's a lot of levels, I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna take a long time, but it is something you can grind for and work towards. We did have a brief Q&A session while I was at this event last week, and there was a couple questions about cross progression. All I can say right now is it is on the way. It's taken a long time because Apex just was not built for cross progression. They were very, I will say, upbeat about it. They kind of talked about it like they did understand how exciting it is, and it seemed like there was kind of a tone shift on cross progression. I feel like when I've heard them talk about it in the past, it was pretty negative, and this time it just did not seem like that. So I'm pretty excited based off what their tone was. If you are wondering about the new Legend Vantage, I unfortunately can't talk to her due to legal issues, and I don't want to go to internet jail, but I will say more on the way very shortly with her, so stay tuned and check out this video so you can like not suck at the game and let me know what you think about the new season. Peace out.